Hi guys, happy Friday. Cheers. Oh, that's the stuff. Today's episode is going to be about money, so let's take a look. So, I would like to start off by saying that money from the UK can be a tricky one, because although we have one currency, and that is pound sterling or Great British Pound, GBP, we have different types of the same money, and I'll explain. For example, what you see in front of you is the money used in England and Wales. It's still the pound, but it's from the Bank of England. Now, the coins are pretty much the same wherever you go. It's mainly the notes that change. Now, in Scotland, they have 3 banks that issue notes, to my knowledge, and that is the Clyde Bank, the Bank of Scotland, and the Royal Bank of Scotland. So in Scotland, you can have 3 different £5 notes, 3 different £10 notes, and 3 different £20 notes. And Ireland is the same. I think they have 3 different banks. Northern Ireland, I should say. So in Northern Ireland you have Ulster Bank and the Bank of Ireland. There is another one, but it's not coming to me at the moment. So in Ireland you have 3 different 5s, 3 different 10s, 3 different 20s. So because I am in England at the moment, I will stick to the money I have readily available to me. And if you are a tourist who comes to the UK, I'd say most tourists will probably go to London. So this is probably what you will encounter if you were to come to the UK. So let's get started. I'll start with the lowest denominations and work my way to the biggest. So first of all, we have the penny. Now, the penny is the first of our 2 copper coloured coins. I'll go with copper. So on the front of all of our coins we have the Queen's face, along with her name and the date it was produced. On the back side we have the denomination, one penny, with a picture of a portcullis and chains, which are the symbols of Parliament in the UK. Okay, then we come to 2 pence. Again, Queen on the front with the year it was made. Just move my beer out of the way. Okay, so then we come to the 2p. On the back of the 2 pence, again, the denomination, plus a plume of ostrich feathers, which is the symbol for the Prince of Wales, who at the moment is Prince Charles. Okay, then we come to the first of our silver coloured coins. This is the 5 pence. Okay, now on the back of the 5 pence we have the thistles, which is a symbol of Scotland, if you like. On the edge you can see it's sort of I don't know what you'd call that, but ridged. There you go, ridged. Sound that. Okay, when it comes to the 10 pence, which is slightly bigger, on the back of the 10 pence, again it's ridged. You can see that. Back of the 10 pence is a lion with a crown. That's part of the coat of arms of the UK. When we come to the 20 pence, focus. There we go. 20 pence, the first of our heptagonal coins, 7-sided coins. Now, if you turn the 20 pence over, it has a Tudor rose for those of you who don't know, the Tudors are or were a royal house, royal family of Britain. Henry VIII was a Tudor. I'm sure most of you have heard of him and his 6 wives. Okay, now while we're on the subject, an interesting thing about the 20 pence is in 2008 they redesigned the back of all the coins, which I'll come to in a minute. And on the 20 pence they produced thousands of 20 pences without the date. As you can see there, it's 2002. If you come across one of these coins without the date, keep hold of it, because already apparently I've read on the internet that collectors will pay £100 for one of these 20 pences without the date on. So in years to come, who knows what it'll be worth. So then we're on to our next heptagonal coin. Move that out of the way. And here we have the 50 pence. So we turn that over. And on the back of the 50 pence is Britannia with a lion. Now, Britannia is the ancient Roman word for Britain, or the UK as it's now known. And Britannia is the female personification of Britain, much in the same way that for the Americans, Uncle Sam is the personification of the US. Okay, so that brings us on to the pound coins. Now, you may notice I have a few in front of me here. Again, the Queen's face is on the front of all of them, along with the date. Now, the thing with the pound coins is the difference in backs. Now, they've been designed sort of to represent each of the 4 countries that make up the UK. For example, here we have what I think are thistles. Please forgive me if they're not, but I think they're thistles and they represent Scotland. Then you've got the rampant lion, which again represents Scotland. Then you've got the 3 lions, which represent England. Now, I haven't been able to get any coins that represent Northern Ireland or Wales, but the Welsh one has a Welsh dragon on it, and a picture of leeks, which is like their national vegetable, I suppose you could say. And on the Irish one, they have a pound with like a Celtic cross design on it, and another one with like a flax plant. So sort of representing each of the 4 nations, if you like, that make up the UK. There's also ones with bridges on, one famous bridge from each of the 4 countries. Now, please forgive me, I can't tell you what this bridge is or where it is, but that's just one of them. There are obviously 3 others, one representing each country in the UK. There are also ones with the royal shield on, the 3 lions representing England, the rampant lion in the top right hand corner representing Scotland, and the harp like instrument. I'm sorry if that's not what it's called, but it looks like a harp, that represents Northern Ireland. You might recognise that symbol from cans of Guinness. They also have that symbol on. And we also have the royal coat of arms. Okay, so that about in fact no, I'm getting ahead of myself. The pound coins have, upside down, have Latin writing on the edges. If I read Latin, I'd be able to tell you what that said, but I don't, so I can't. It's also slightly ridged, not as much as the 5 and 10 pence, but slightly ridged. Okay. So that brings us to £2 coin. This is our only sort of dual coloured coin, if you like. It has a sort of a gold outside, sort of around here, and a silver in the centre. Again, the Queen's face on one side, and ridged. Ridged on the edge. This one isn't in Latin. What does it say? Standing on the focus. Standing on the shoulders of giants. So there you go. And on the back side has like the denomination £2, the date. It has like a sort of abstract design. It's quite nice to look at. So that's the £2 coin. These are quite rare. You don't see these as much as you would see the £1 coins, but they are more common than they used to be. Okay. So now we move on to the notes. First is the £5 note. You'll have to excuse the condition of these notes. I've tried to get nice, crisp, new ones, but to no avail. So, on the front, as with all the notes, the Queen's face, hologram, the denomination, and the Bank of England on there. On the back is Elizabeth Fry. All the banknotes tend to have famous Brits who have contributed something towards the well-being of either Britain or towards the world. This is Elizabeth Fry. She's known for improving working conditions for women in prisons across Europe. So that's her, and this is her reading to a group of female prisoners. Okay, then we come to the £10, which is like a, let's call that a rusty brown colour. Again, the Queen on the front, hologram. On the back is someone who I'm sure most of you will be familiar with. That's Charles Darwin, credited with the theory of evolution. So that's him there, and things that he would have used or come across whilst on his travels on, I think he went to the Galapagos Islands. I'll have to check on that. Okay, so that's £10, so I'll leave it like that for now. Then we come to the £20. Now, the £20 is sort of a purpley blue colour. Queen as usual, more holograms than the rest of the notes, the 5 and the 10. And this sort of white bit here isn't on the other notes. Turn that over. And this is Adam Smith, who is a Scottish philosopher and economist. So that's the £20 note. Now there is a £50 note which I don't have to show you. I'll try to put up a picture. Now I was born and bred in the UK, and never in my 22 years have I come across or had in my possession a £50 note. They're just very rare, mainly used by banks and businesses, so you just don't see them. And if you do have one, they're very hard to spend. A lot of shops have sort of signs in the window or next to the till saying that they won't accept £50 notes. So it's just not a common sight. I will try to find a picture though. On the back of the £50 note is Matthew Boulton and James Watt, who were both responsible for accelerating the process of manufacturing steam engines in the 18th and 19th century. Right, so let's talk about forgery. Now, with all the notes, which is £10, it should be slightly raised, ever so slightly. It's hardly noticeable, but it shouldn't be smooth at all over the Bank of England. Should be a little bit rough. What else do we have? The metallic thread, which you'll see on the reverse side of the notes, like that. It looks like it's sort of woven throughout the note. However, let's see if I can get this on camera. If you hold it up to the light, it should appear, if I go up that note, it's hard to catch on camera, but it should look like one solid black line, which I think it does on there. Also, while we're here, the Queen's face should appear in this sort of area when you hold it up to the light. Try that with a £5, it's a bit dirty, this £5. You can just about make it out on there. What else do we have? The Queen's face there. We also have the holograms, which, like on this one, it says 20, and if you tilt it a bit, it comes to Adam Smith. Like that. On the £10, what do we have? It's hard to make that out. It's like a 10 something else. I'm sorry, I can't tell you what that is. It's hard to make out. But anyway, it should change from the number, i.e. 5, 10 or 20, to another picture. Again, on that one it's quite hard to see. And also the size. The 10 is bigger than the 5. 20 is bigger than the 10. So they're all just slightly bigger. Okay, so that about sums it up for money. Hang on a second. Okay, so there are many slang words for money. Cash, dough, dosh, wonga. In the north, we tend to call it brass, but you've got to be careful with that one, because in the south, brass can be slang for a prostitute, so just be careful with that, depending on where you are. For the £1, most common would be a quid. 1 quid, 2 quid, 3 quid, 4 quid. Quid is just slang for a pound. Occasionally you hear the word nicker. 5 nicker would be £5. For £5, a bluey, due to the colour of the note, or a fiver. 10, tenner. A £20 is sometimes called a score. A 50 is sometimes called a bullseye, due to 50 on a dartboard, bullseye. What else do we have? £100, sometimes called a wanna. How much did that cost you? It was a wanna, £100, or a ton. £500, especially down south, is sometimes called a monkey. And from what I've read, that is because back when India was like a colony of Great Britain, the 500 rupee note had a monkey on it. So British serviceman, 500 was a monkey. Then that brings us to £1,000. I think a lot of Western countries call 1,000 the same thing, a grand or a K. 5k would be £5,000. 5 grand would be £5,000. So that about sums it up for money. Again, any questions, leave comments, and I'll do my best to find out and get back to you. So, until next time, take it easy.